Well, hi everyone, and welcome along to this week's Quick Fix. We've got a really messy, very colourful palette here, which is just left over from a painting job. And today we're talking all about whether to clean or not to clean your watercolour palette. So you know that whenever I start a new project on YouTube, I'm always beginning with a clean, empty palette. And to be honest, for years, I was not like that at all. I was very, very keen on leaving all the colours in the palette to stay there, because one of the beauties of leaving these funny mixes and things is then you're able to come right back in and use and wake up these mixes and colours over and over again. And they just kind of develop in the palette and become wonderful extra easy access colours, as well as your ones actually in the wells here. However, when I am doing a YouTube video, just from a purely aesthetic point of view, I really like to have a clean palette to begin with, because then it means it's much clearer for you guys when I'm actually taking the various colours from the palette into a nice clear mixing space, and I can show you the mixes, and that is just a really great way of teaching. So I'm not going to tell you you should do one way or the other, because there are pros and cons to both. The other reason of that I do clean my palette these days is also about dirt and dust and fluff getting into the palette. So often in my videos I'll say, oh, just got a bit of fluff on my brush. I'll put the brush into the palette, and lo and behold, a little hair will come out. I can just see one there. It's usually, I live in a house with 2 dogs, so there's usually a bit of dog hair floating around in the air. Whereas if I'm more fastidious at cleaning the palette every time, and even running a tap actually over the solid colours themselves, just lightly, it can really help keep everything really fresh, dust-free and clean. But I am going to show you today just how I would clean up this palette, and the beauty of watercolour is it is just so easy to do so. I've got some kitchen roll here. I just rip up a small bit. Now, if your colour is still really like fresh and wet in the palette, all you need to do is with a firm hand just clean it up like that. It is as simple as that. It all comes off, and I'll just sort of fold it round and maybe do a second little clean. I think over time with a plastic palette you are going to get a faint sheen of colour just hanging around in the palette. And even when the colours have been sitting there for a bit longer, they still come off really, really easily. But sometimes you might want to get a second bit, dip it in some clean water, and just give it a really nice sort of proper face wash. And the same goes for when there's colours lurking in. See, there's the wrong colour lurking in there. We can just clean that out as well. Get rid of that colour. And it'll be disturbing the original colour a little bit, but on the whole it benefits way more from cleaning. So you can see how easy it is to clean your palette. Now, the other thing about this particular palette here is it's actually a hinged folding palette. This is how it's, oh, there we go. That's how it normally is, so it hinges together. I broke these 2 apart so that it was useful for viewing on YouTube. But if you do have a palette that can fold over, it's pretty filthy on the back too, that means it also protects itself from dust and hairs and things. However, a lot of people do ask me, if you are folding a palette over with wet colour in, is the colour all going to drip out and gloop out? Well, no. The short answer is the colours in their wells are so sort of thick and air dried that they almost are like half pans. When you have obviously loose bits of colour like that are really wet, yes, you wouldn't want to fold that over immediately because they probably will run. But actually, if you have colour on your palette that has dried, it's like this, for example, or there isn't a huge amount of liquid there, that would still be fine to fold over. And it won't be going anywhere. So just use a little bit of common sense. If your palette is completely sopping wet and you want to protect those colours, then just let them air dry a little bit before you fold it over. If you prefer to start each day with a completely clean palette, which I seem to have fallen into the habit of just through YouTube filming, then that's totally cool as well. It just means that you might end up getting through your colours a little faster than if you were maintaining all your mixes in your palettes, but it's not going to be a huge amount of difference. So I really hope that quick fix was helpful. The Loxley folding palette, which I own, that is available to buy in lots of excellent art stores, but I have linked to where I get it from below in the episode notes, so you can go and get yourself one, and it's really affordable. In the UK it's just £4.95 when I bought it, and that's really fantastic for quite a large piece of kit. And it's also got the little thumb hole where you can sort of pretend to be a proper artist and stick your brushes in there as well. It's kind of cool. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.